George Russell winning the race. But, yeah, I mean, look, this was a horrible race for me. I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna unsubscribe from the channel where I get these setups from. I'm gonna uninstall the game, not buy F124. This really sent me on a downward spiral, this result, because we are going to cross the line to finish P21 for our worst result in a race we've finished since probably season 1, maybe ever. But Kevin Magnussen, surely he's close enough to make this overtake with the DRS, even with me burning battery all the way through the DRS zone. We're going to need it for the next DRS zone as well, because Kevin Magnussen, even though he's now ahead of us, he's going to have the DRS there as well. We have a pretty decent run through turns 9 and 10 as Charles Leclerc becomes the first driver to win for Jaguar Racing other than myself. And now we're coming under pressure from Fittipaldi, pushing us outside the points. We're going to dive back up the inside of both him and Magnussen, but we've gone too far and we go off the road, and surely that is going to destroy our chances of scoring points here today. Pierre Gasly piles on the misery. We do manage to keep Jahan Deruvala behind there, and actually we've allowed Sargent and Perez through on him there as well, as Deruvala has to back out and move fully. But we are going to round the final couple of corners here, and this has been one of the most perplexing ends to a race for me that I think I have ever had. I don't know where my performance went as we crossed the line to take P12. I do not get that at all. Am I happy that Charles Leclerc won the race? Of course. But, yeah, I don't understand where our performance went. It's a mystery to me. Max Verstappen, driver of the day, P16 to about P6 or P7, I think. Strong performance from him. As we make our way through the back straight for the final time here in Shanghai, Charles Leclerc is closing me down. Is he going to go for a move? We brake nice and early, but we still don't make the corner. Is this going to invite Charles Leclerc for a move up the inside as we go off the track? We're wheel to wheel as we come back onto the track. At no point was he ever ahead of me, so it wasn't a legal move from me. But as we make our way through the final corner, we brake nice and early to make sure we've made it. Slam on the battery, and we are going to cross the line to win the Chinese Grand Prix. And you can see as we make our way around the final few corners before we get into this big long straight, nothing else really happened for the remainder of the sprint. You know, Oscar Piastri started to fall away from me a little bit. Max Verstappen pulled away. Gasly unfortunately couldn't hold on to the lead. He's going to end up in P5. It was P4 for Charles Leclerc there, but it is Perez who wins it from Magnussen and Albon is the top 3 there. But we are going to cross the line, take P7. It's a couple of good points here in the sprint. And yeah, hopefully we can use this result to build from that and score some more good points in the actual race. You know, a lot more points up for grabs tomorrow. Maybe we can even get ourselves into the top 5. Who knows? George Russell from P17 on the grid has somehow come through to snatch P3 here. I don't know if he just got lucky with that safety car or something, because it came out on lap 18, but surely... No, he'd already pitted by that point. I don't know how George Russell has managed to come through the field like that. Will be Sergio Perez picking up victory. Leclerc in P2. Russell will take P3. Alex Albon, he's not close enough to go for a move on us, and we are going to cross the line to take P4 in a far better Azerbaijan Grand Prix than I ever could have imagined would have happened. P4. If you'd have given me the opportunity to get P4 at the start of the weekend, I would have bitten your arm off. So I am very, very happy with that. George Russell deservedly getting driver of the day, and P4 for us. But the tyres were definitely starting to get away from me. Now Max Verstappen is very close on this occasion. I would not be surprised if he's able to go for a move up the inside. By the time we get to a corner, he's a full car length in front, and we actually make a bit of contact with him there because he's very slow. And when I go to check for the damage, I get a little bit more than I bargained for, because our engine has blown up. And yeah, that is going to be the end of the race for us, unfortunately. Yeah, I literally just went to check to see if there was any front wing damage, which there wasn't. You know, it wasn't that hard of a hit. And yeah, there was a red engine indicator on my dash instead. So yeah, we're out of the race, and we're going to have to retire. Not what I was expecting at all. Going to massively harm our championship chances, because it definitely looked like we did have the potential to win here today, but it's not going to happen for us, and we're going to have to settle for a DNF and hopefully try and bounce back in the next race, I guess. He's either going to have to get me into one of the Ravazzas, or he's going to have to overtake me on the line now. Those are the only places where George Russell can overtake. He's not going to be quite close enough to do it into Ravazza 1. Ravazza 2 is just not an overtaking corner. And as we make our way through the final corner, all we've got to do now is hope that we had good traction on the exit of the corner. It seems like that has happened, and we're going to cross the line to take P1 in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's our first win at this circuit, and I am very, very pleased with that, as Russell leading me home with Albon in P3. But your driver of the day today is Nick de Vries, from exiting in Q1 to making his way into P4. What a drive for the Dutchman. The amount of points that we could have closed up to Charles Leclerc is nowhere near as many as it could have been if he'd not had such a good result here. We're only going to be closing him down by 7 points. Still another 25 to go after this race, which means, you know, if I win another race and he doesn't finish in it, much like Imola, then we'll be right on his tail. But as things stand, it's going to take at least, probably I would say, 4 races to catch Charles Leclerc in the championship still. But for now, we're going to deny him a home race win. We're going to win the Monaco Grand Prix as we cross the line there. And yeah, very happy with that. We make it 3 wins this season, including 2 in a row, which is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, hopefully we can just keep this tremendous run of form that we seem to have hit since Shanghai going for many more races to come. But still a long way to go. 22 laps left in this Spanish Grand Prix. Lando Norris not going to give up the lead for free here in the Spanish Grand Prix, especially considering he's still chasing his first win of the season, and we are not going to give it to him if we can do anything about it. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about it because, as you can see, that is a mechanical failure. The engine has gone once again for the second time this season. It happened in Miami when I was leading the race. It's happened here in Spain while I am leading the race, and Lando Norris is going to inherit the lead from me, with Russell and Perez moving into P2 and P3 respectively, and Charles Leclerc moving up into the points as a result of that as well. So a disappointing outcome for myself, but hopefully Charles Leclerc will be able to make a bit of a recovery. Having started P12 in the race, I hope that he will be able to come back a little bit. But this is immensely frustrating, talking about comebacks, because it means that we're going to have to wait just that little bit longer to try and get ourselves back involved in the conversation for a championship fight with our teammate Charles Leclerc and the other drivers who are sort of, you know, contending for that position at the moment. I would have loved to have shown you more of what happened in this race, but the honest to God truth is I basically showed you all the action that happened in this race. It was a very simple one for me, very well controlled. There were a few moments there where I was battling with Sergio Perez and thinking, perhaps this won't be as free a win as I thought it would be, but ultimately the strategy worked itself out for me, and we're going to come up to the line to win the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is our 4th win of the season. Very happy with that, hoping that that should close the gap to Leclerc and Russell in the championship quite significantly. Don't know if that will move me up a position or not. It depends on where those guys finished, but yeah, happy with the result and hoping we can keep the momentum going. And hopefully we should be able to keep our former teammate at bay without too many issues here. However, we are going to be coming into one of the tightest, more technical sections of the track. We turn in too early to Copse, and that has given us an awful run through there. We've had to compromise our speed quite a lot, coming under pressure from Hauger, who does make his way through as we get into Maggots and Beckett's. But what that is going to mean is that he is going to have sacrificed the DRS for track position here, and now we have a real opportunity to hopefully hold on to this P4 position. Just 3 tenths behind Hauger. The gap is closing and closing and closing. He defends to the inside, but we go further to the inside, and now we're going to try and squeeze him out on the way through Stowe. But he's staying right with us. We're wheel to wheel on the way down to the Vale chicane. We brake nice and late to make sure we have the outside line. A tiny bit of contact there between myself and Hauger, I think, as I squeeze him to the inside of the apex. Very close, but we are going to cross the line to take P4, and we just about finish ahead of Dennis Hauger there. It was a very tight finish, very intense battle, but we've made our way through from P10 on the grid. I'm happy with that performance. Charles Leclerc gets driver of the day for going from P14 to P7. It was a decent result for him, and it's a P4 finish for us. And as we make our way to the final couple of corners, I just don't see where we're going to get an overtake done now. Piastri could still get ahead of Perez, but I don't think we're going to be getting ahead of anyone. We have managed to keep Fittipaldi at bay as we make our way through the final corners, but here it will be confirmed. Dennis Hauger is a race winner in Formula 1. We are going to have the DRS, but Oscar Piastri 8 tenths up the road. It's not going to happen for us today, and we are going to cross the line to take P5, 10 points, and we should now be leading the World Championship. So I can't be too disappointed with that. I would have felt like we could have got at least P3. Kevin Magnussen gets driver of the day, but I am, you know, mixed feelings about that P5. And Oscar Piastri is going to have to settle for P2, and unless he can make an overtake in an unconventional spot towards the end of the race, either through Blanchimont or into the bus stop chicane, which, to be fair, he has closed me down by 3 tenths already through this sort of straight with one corner, I guess, that you kind of take flat out. Yeah, ultimately he wasn't able to quite close us down. Through Blanchimont I had the superior run, through the bus stop chicane I had the superior run, and that has allowed me to take the victory here in the sprint race and set me up very nicely, starting from P1 in the Grand Prix as well, that will mean, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to score the maximum gambit of points this weekend which will be 34 if we can get fastest lap as well, but very happy with that performance in the sprint. Oscar Piastri, look, he is very, very close. He's closing me down. The gap now is coming down to less than 0.2 of a second. We go around Blanchimont, we've been a little bit faster, but does he have enough battery in the tank to go for a move up the inside into the bus stop chicane? No, he doesn't, and that might just be his undoing. It's going to be a drag racer line. He will have that drag reduction system, but I don't think it will be enough, and we are going to cross the line first, take the victory here in the Belgian Grand Prix for the second year in a row, and we've won the sprint race as well. We take almost the maximum number of points, bar the fastest lap point, 33 points for the weekend, extend our championship advantage. What a race, what a banger that was. We will be alright, and we'll be able to hold on to this podium. Having got the win in the last race, it looks like it will be a podium here in Zandvoort after all. It's an amazing turnaround from last year in Zandvoort, where we finished 14th. And as Dennis Hauger wins the race, we are going to cross the line to take P3. We were able to hold on to P3 from Piastri over the course of these final few laps. He was getting quite close to us on a few occasions, but I think as we come on the run into the Parabolica now, we should be pretty safe. It's going to be a victory here for Alex Albon. He's just got to drive to the line now, and he's going to lead home a Mercedes 1-2 here, in fact, as we are going to cross the line to take P3. So we make our way now onto the final few corners of the lap. I don't think feasibly Esteban Ocon is going to be able to mount a challenge on us unless we make a big mistake, big snap or oversteer or something like that. So we are going to round the final couple of corners here in Singapore to win the Singapore Grand Prix. And I mean, yeah, there's a reason I love this track. It's because it makes me look like prime Max Verstappen, prime Michael Schumacher, prime whoever your favourite driver is. That's how I look when I drive at Suzuka. Nobody can even get close to me. I genuinely think in the times that we've raced here in the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, I've had maybe 2 attacks from drivers, and obviously Fittipaldi overtook me at the start of the race today. But we're going to round the final corner, start celebrating early because we have won the Japanese Grand Prix for something like the 4th time in a row at this point, and just increased our successful winning run around this circuit. Alex Albon somehow gets driver of the day. It should have been us. I've been robbed, but I don't care because it's another 26 points. On the one hand, we are very fast through the corners, and in that middle sector we are by far the fastest person on track. But in the straights we are suffering so much because of this lack of straight line speed. We have the DRS on Charles Leclerc, and this should be enough to keep Lando Norris behind, as we are going to cross the line to take P2. It's a long run out of the final corner to the finish line. It's like 3/5 of the entire straight before you reach the finish line. It's not like Barcelona where the line comes up immediately out of the final corner. So Lando Norris actually has a legitimate chance to overtake us on the line here, and there will be very little rather that we can do about that. So we will see Lando Norris closing the gap certainly very, very quickly, pulling to the inside, but we are going to win the Qatar Grand Prix. In any case, for the rest of the sprint, we didn't really see any action. No challenges. Yes, Hauger got quite close to me, but he never looked like he was going to overtake me. Just to get a good run through the final corner, everything will be fine, and we'll cross the line to take P1. Might have caught Dennis Hauger, but yeah, it just didn't seem to happen for us. The pace kind of fell away from us a little bit in the last couple of laps, and the gap increased a bit. Dennis Hauger maybe was being a bit conservative at first, not pushing too hard, but when he saw that I was closing him in, maybe he pushed a bit harder. So it's going to be a 3rd victory this season for the Norwegian driver, and we are going to cross the line to take P3 and or P2 rather, and another podium. Not a win. We couldn't get our 4th race win in a row. We couldn't get our 1st win in Texas, but we still bag a crucial 18 points in our championship fight. Dennis Hauger gets driver of the day, and a solid performance from us both.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close, and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers.
Well, I mean, look, you saw I was 4 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. Was he really going to close me down from there? With no DRS, with no ability to sort of blast past me on the straights or anything like that, he kind of consigned himself to his fate. I managed to pull away by an additional 3 seconds over the course of the next 8 laps, which was pretty nice, almost half a second per lap. And we're going to cross the line to take P1 in the sprint. A full course of 8 points there, and hopefully we'll be able to use this to convert it into a good result in the race as well. And yeah, hopefully bag maximum 26 points, and put our hands on that Constructors' Championship trophy. And no doubt what's going to happen is I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get absolutely battered in the next race. But maybe that's what I need. You know, we haven't failed to score points in a race that we've finished since Australia. But we are going to round the final corner, and we are going to cross the line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. We make it a maximum 34 points from this race weekend. Sprint race victory and the race victory as well. We're finally back on the top step of the podium after a few races away from it. Sergio Perez gets driver of the day. I'm not sure why, but we'll find out, I'm sure, and it is the victory for us. Either way, this is a robbery. I have robbed this race I've robbed this podium in pure daylight. There is no other explanation for what's happened here. This is robbery, and we are going to cross the line to take P3. It will be George Russell to take the victory here today, and Charles Leclerc has to settle for P2, but another podium for him. I did say that I wanted him to get on the podium in one of the last 2 races, and he has done that. I think it was Lando Norris in P3, but we are going to have to settle for P12. So Alex Albon, in what can only be described as a Jarier-esque move, has completely ruined the race here, effectively, because I was racing with Hauger and Ocon tooth and nail up until those final few laps. And you can see Albon right on the back of me now. That's not Dennis Hauger that's that close to me. It's Alex Albon, but he's not getting past me. You know, he can stay behind because I'm not having my race ruined by him, as well as him ruining the races of Hauger and Ocon as well. So as we round the final couple of corners, it is an anticlimactic finish due to the lapped car of Alex Albon. We're going to cross the line to win, as we hope to do here in Abu Dhabi, but it's not quite the grandstand finish that I think the viewers would have been hoping for there, because yeah, Alex Albon, a lap down, just decided to absolutely kill the race there. So yeah, a disappointing finish from a viewership perspective, but I'm still happy to take the win. Alright, what is up everyone? Thank you so much for sticking around through that recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I always enjoy putting these videos together, just reflecting a little bit on the season that we've had, and it's been a really, really strong season this season. I had 10 wins this season, if you can believe it, which is by far the most I think I've ever had in any season of my team career mode. You know, just utterly dominant. Obviously, I will be upping the difficulty a little bit next season to hopefully make things a bit more competitive. And we have decided to re-sign Charles Leclerc to our team. However, we're going to make him the medium risk offer here, on account of the fact that he's not blown me away this season. He has been far and away my best teammate. He's happy to accept the medium risk offer, so we will be continuing with Charles Leclerc at least for the first half of next season, and hopefully he can put in some more stellar performances as we go on. We still have $20 million to spend, so we'll be spending that on some facility upgrades here in the aero department, and we'll get even more money once we finish the season, and we'll have a bit of money to spend before the first race of the next season as well. Here you can see the way the performance index has changed over the course of the season. Everybody recovering from the regulation change as things went on, but we're basically at peak performance once again now. So yeah, 5th fastest car on the grid. And then, yeah, you can see the driver's standings. We were 145 points ahead of Piastri at the end of the season there, 210 points ahead in the Constructors. And here is a full breakdown of the results over the course of the whole season. You can see that Russell won the first race, and then it was Leclerc in Australia and myself in China. We had, who won in Baku there? Perez, of course, yeah. Miami was Verstappen's, the only race he won that season. Then we did the double in Imola and Monaco. Then Spain went to Norris, Canada to myself, Britain to Norris. Hauger picked up his first win in France. We won in Belgium. Hauger won in Zandvoort. It was Albon picking up his only win of the season in Monza. We won 3 on the trot, Singapore, Japan, Qatar. Hauger won his 3rd race of the season in the USA. Mexico belonged to Ocon. Brazil was ours. Perez won again in Ferrari in Portugal. Then Vegas was Russell's 2nd win of the season, and we won the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, very up and down season. No wins for Piastri, and in fact he's the only driver all the way down to Liam Lawson who failed to win a race this season. But somehow he still walked away with P2 in the Drivers' Championship. One of the most remarkable things I think I've ever seen from Oscar Piastri there, to come 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, fairly comprehensively as well, whilst not winning a single race. I think that he will be a little bit aggrieved by that, to be perfectly honest, but you know, we'll see whether he can bounce back next season or not. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up at least one win, especially if there were so many races that season where he came second that I won. So I'm feeling like surely he'll be able to, if I'm not winning so many races because, you know, the game's a little bit harder now, you would anticipate that he is going to be, it's going to be picking up at least one victory where I fail to next season. But yeah, there we go. 33 million added to the bank account, a total of 38 million that we go into the end of the season with. And then yeah, here's the breakdown. 10 wins for myself and 11 poles, 394 points in total. Then Leclerc, 1 win, 1 pole, 220 points. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up a few more than 1 win. But then again, like the only people who won more than 2 races last season were Norris and Hauger. So yeah, I don't maybe blame him too much because nobody was really winning lots of races last season. In terms of the calendar, we are of course going to be having Bahrain, Austria and Hungary return to the calendar in place of Canada and also Belgium and also Brazil. Now, I know you're probably going to be raising your eyebrows at that calendar a little bit, but there are very few races left on the calendar that we haven't replaced at this stage, so it was a bit of a difficult call, and that was the call I made. In terms of power unit supplier, given that the durability of the Merc and the Ferrari was a little bit better, I decided to switch off of the Red Bull powertrains and onto the Ferrari. So we've now used every engine supplier across the entire series. And here's the livery we're going to be running next season. I've brought the purple back in a little bit, hoping that will make our car stand out a little bit more on the track with that sort of striking purple colour. I'm actually a really big fan of the livery I've made this time, so I hope you guys like it as well. Comment down below your thoughts, feelings and opinions on it. And that is going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you all in Season 7.